Last week, I decided to do something kind of crazy, maybe stupid. You know I can't resist a challenge, so I ended up doing this thing called the 12-hour walk. This idea comes from an adventurer named Colin O'Brady. He has trekked across Antarctica and did 12-hour days of walking, and he's written a whole book called The 12-Hour Walk, which I haven't read, but I just listened to this podcast where he talked about it and decided, you know what? That sounds like something I'd be into. I'm currently in Emeryville, California, as my wife Amanda paints a mural. I decided to take this pathway up from Emeryville into Oakland, into Richmond, and then into this upper area. There was this point way at the top, and I thought that would be a really cool point to get to. I did not do a lot of prep for this. I just said, that seems like a cool place. I'm sure there'd be some nice views there. Maybe we can go to this lighthouse at the end. And I decided, let's do it. So I set out last Saturday, and I walked for 12 hours. I recorded a little quick reflection after every hour so you can see how my journey progressed. And at the end, I'll share with you some of my thoughts and reflections now that about a week has passed. So it's 8:48 and I am finally starting my 12-hour walk. It took me a little while, but we're out the door now. I'm gonna be walking up the west coast of Oakland. It says it takes me 5 hours to walk there, but I bet I'm gonna have some pauses and stuff. It's gonna be pretty late by the time I get back. I'm a little worried about that, but I think it'll be okay. My hope is that I get a chance to really reflect and think about where I'm at in my life. I turned 36 this year. This was a big year. And I've got a bunch of things that I talked about with my coach. And I'm really hoping for some clarity and some groundedness. So we'll see how this goes. I'll be checking in every hour. No phone. And I'm talking to other people otherwise. Wish me luck. So this is hour one. I'm in Berkeley right now. And I'll be honest, I'm already tired. I don't know how I'm gonna get through 11 more hours of this walking. I was thinking a lot about how when I was in school and I was doing gymnastics, there's a very defined way of measuring success. Success was doing well on tests, success was scoring high in competitions, winning competitions, and it was easy to get a definitive way to measure like how well you're doing. But in your career, and this is something I haven't thought about it lately, it's just that there's so many definitions of success, so many ways that you can be successful, to who, based on what criteria. It's hard to think about, like, how do I feel about my current level of success? And my job as a PM, I'm a level 5, and people right out of school, maybe they're level 3, and then they quickly become level 4. 5 is mid-level. 6 starts to be more senior, but then they've got 7, even 8. The guy before me who's doing my role, maybe 2 years older than me, he's level 7, level 5. How do I feel about that? He wasn't like someone who's got a ton of racial privilege or something like that. He was even an Asian guy. He was a man. But still, I would expect maybe that I've been further along. Same with entrepreneurship. I've done 3 companies. One of them was acquired by Facebook. The other one was acquired by Woven. So on some level, cool. Selling a company in any way is still meaningful, but I certainly know entrepreneurs who are more profitable, have reached higher financial run rates with their business, sold for more money, or just have a higher valuation with their company. And that hasn't been me. Really sad to see a lot of missing animal sightings. It's the same dog, but now the sign's in Chinese. This family is dedicated as fuck. Finishing 2 hours now. I had a bit of a detour. I went and got some food at Whole Foods, got some coffee. So I'm at 4.5 miles. It's also windy. I'm out by this bay area, which is fun. I saw a sign that said "End Horse Racing." It was like graffitied onto a sign. I was like, that's random. But then I passed this area that was called Golden Gate Fields, and it says where the bay comes to play, which I thought was like some sort of amusement park, but it's a horse racing field. So now the sign makes sense. Anyway, gonna take a quick bite to eat on these rocks here. That's my stuff. This is my little coffee, and I'll catch on the next hour. Pretty sweet desert oasis kind of vibes. And then up the stairs there's even more. Wow. Just finished the 4th hour. I have 10.1 miles under my belt, and I've burned, according to my Apple Watch, 889 active calories. I was like pushing myself on the miles because I was starting to feel like I was slowing down and I needed to like get to this point before too late in the day. I was talking to my coach about how one of the models I think of for myself, or what inspires me, is this idea of the people's champion, like the knight, the defender, the person who is representing someone and through my like effort inspiring them. But that still makes me dependent on this group of people who have selected me as the champion, and could be unselected, or I could fail as the champion. That's part of what motivates it, but also there's this element of relying on others for internal validation. So we were talking about other models. The one she talked about was like Johnny Appleseed, a guy who was planting seeds everywhere, making a difference, just moving around, and wherever he plants seeds, apple trees grow necessarily everywhere, but grow in a lot of places. But I was also thinking about Leonardo Da Vinci. Always been someone who inspired me because he had so many talents and interests, the definition of a Renaissance man. Unlike someone like Michelangelo, who's known for the Sistine Chapel, who's known for the David, Leonardo da Vinci was like all over the place. Yes, he's got the Mona Lisa. Yes, he's got his own self-portrait and the virtuous man, but he also designed a whole bunch of shit. He did a lot of anatomy dissection of people, and a lot of his stuff wasn't like really discovered until later on. He left things half finished, like a giant bronze horse. I read a book where the guy was just like, Leonardo da Vinci probably had ADHD. He's all over the place. Couldn't finish things. That was like notorious. People would have to go and finish these crazy things that he's doing. Yet he is such an amazing figure, and he moved around. He didn't have a single master. He wasn't known for doing one particular thing. He was trying to do helicopters and shit. And then there's this character in Chinese culture who's also part of the Taoist tradition, but unlike the Tao Te Ching and Lao Tzu, who may have been like multiple different people, this guy was like a single dude. We're pretty sure like Munzi, I think is his name, or no, Chong Yi. I can't remember. We'll look this up later, but he's like more funny. He has more adventures. He's more lighthearted. He's still talking in riddles in some ways, but at least they're about stories rather than just like really cryptic stuff. And I feel like he could be interesting, but I need to learn more about him. I had some conversations with people on the street. I was like taking a picture of this desert oasis, and this lady comes out of the building and she's like, oh, you think that's cool? Go up the stairs. The guy has more, Mr. Melvin. And so she tuned me into like more. Another guy like pointed out that there were like swallow butterflies on the path where we were walking, and that was pretty, man, I could have picked a better place for this. And then the last thing that happened was I saw these kids. They were behind this like kind of gated community. The kid stuck his fist down, was like, pound it. And I was holding my phone and I hesitated for a second. I looked at him because I didn't know if someone recently in my own neighborhood like stuck the pound out and then pulled it, which was like really a bullshit move. I hesitated. But then I pounded him, and he smiled, like, cool, and then he moved on, and I was like, that was really sweet. And another part of me was like, I was holding my phone, was that a mistake? Was that dangerous? I feel bad that I was thinking that maybe he was gonna try to snatch the phone out of my hand, but I don't know. It's hard to trust people sometimes. I naturally do trust people, and then sometimes I pay for it. Finished hour 5. I'm 12 miles in. I'm getting close to the point, or I'm gonna enter the nature reserve area that is my destination for this walk. And I'll be honest, this last hour has been really tough. My feet are hurting, my knees are hurting, my hips are hurting. I sat down for a little bit and it felt so good just to be off my feet and have the backpack off me. But I want to keep going. I want to get to this location. There's a barbecue spot. There should be a good view. I don't even know if this place is open, and that'll be a whole other adventure. I still have enough food. I also need to pee, so I need to do that at some point. But yeah, this is where it starts to get challenging. Hopefully I'll feel better. By the next one, hopefully, in the next hour, I'm going to be at my location, and I'll be sitting down. Wish me luck. All right, I'm taking a break. It's almost 6 hours of the 12-hour walk. I'm taking a break because I found a bench, and if I'm sitting, I might as well record. I ate the second half of my sandwich, so I got a bit of a second wind, and I was moving a little bit faster, walking on this pedestrian bridge alongside the highway, which connects all the way to the other side, 5-ish miles on the bridge. But I'm not going on the bridge. I'm gonna get back into the trail. So you can see some of the cyclists over there doing their thing. I'm going down that way though. I am beat up. What was I thinking about? Just this idea of being someone who does crazy shit. Like, this is kind of bizarre and wacky, and because I turned the internet off, I wasn't super clear on how to get to this point, and it looks like it's gonna be like, it's like another 1.5 miles just to get to one beach, and then probably another 2 miles after that to get to where I want to go. And I think I can get there, but it's going to be really tough to make it back. It's 2:45 now. If I can make it back to that town area and order some food and then get a ride home at 12 hours. Have I gotten any big revelations? No. I've been grateful that I've been talking to a bunch of people. Like, I've had to ask people for stuff because I'm not just looking it up online, and so that's been kind of nice. Other than that, I'm just like, this is hard. It's pretty depressing. All these houses are boarded up, just like, don't come in here, no one lives here, no one's gonna live here. This is hour 7, walked 16.9 miles, and I am just trucking along. All I can think of is the idea that 90% of the work, oh no, never mind. All I can think of is it takes so much longer just to get halfway. Everything takes longer than you think. I've been trying to walk to this place, and at 5 hours in, I was like, hopefully by 6 hours, I'll be there. And then at 6 hours, I was nowhere close. It's now 7 hours. I'm still not there, but I think I will get there before 8 hours. I am definitely not making it all the way back. I hope I can make it all the way back to the Richmond area so that I can get some food. Man, it is brutal when you haven't even reached the place where you're trying to go. And it's a lot of psychological games now to try to stay motivated and to push through to get to the other side. I guess I'm more than halfway through, so that should feel good. And at this point, my legs are feeling swollen and numb. My knee is hurting a little bit, my left knee, but it's starting to get really beautiful. So, at least there's that. Oh my God. This whole area is off limits. I don't understand. Terminal 4. Nematode Holdings. Okay. That's it. Harbor Trail. Right. God. Looks like this is my best bet. All right, what's up? I am on hour 8. I refueled, I finally got some food, I got a change of clothes, changed my socks. Feeling better, still tired, still wondering how far I'm gonna be able to make it through all those hills and ups and downs. One of the things that's also true is once you've been there, the way back always seems faster. So that's my hope here. Again, no big revelations. I was pretty happy with getting there. The people were, it was fun, there's a lot of music and stuff, but at the same time, food wasn't like amazing, which is fine. Not what I was here for, but it's always the sense of some satisfaction, some dissatisfaction when you actually reach your goal. So now on the back half of this, unfortunately, my walking recording got cut on my phone and my watch, so I have to start over on these. But 4 hours. Wow, that's actually, that seems, yeah, 4 hours. Maybe if I'm ambitious, I can make some more progress and actually head into town a little bit before I get my car ride. But we'll see. This wind is looking real good on my hair. I think I look totally disheveled. That was good. Okay, I lost track of time, a little past 9 hours. Making progress. I'm now just trying to beat the sunlight because it's gonna start getting dark, and as it gets dark, it's gonna be more and more dangerous for me. So I wanna make as much progress as I can, especially on these roads that don't have a lot of light. I use this time to rehearse this talk that I'm giving on resilience, and it was really good because it helped me identify what I wanna say, and I'm really happy like giving this talk without any notes and just thinking about it. What else? Can't remember now. Just like going into the pain cave, gritting your way through physical challenges. I don't know. Mad that my watch is dying battery-wise, and I don't know how I'm gonna be able to track the rest of the walk, but it is what it is. All right, gotta keep going. Check in soon. I just finished hour 10, so coming into the home stretch, not really thinking about a lot, pretty zoned out and just trying to put one foot in front of the other. It's getting dark, so I gotta keep moving and get into places where it's well lit. I'm using this time to think a little bit more about my resilience model and articulating a more straightforward and crisp definition or explanation for each of the 4 elements: respond, restore, reflect, rebuild. And that's been good. Oh, the other thing I didn't want to forget was that when I was walking through that area with the harbor, it's like a long, windy road, not a lot of people driving on it, a lot of like random areas, not well lit. Felt like a perfect location for a Jack Reacher novel. Almost if I were to write Jack Reacher fan fiction. Dax Preacher. Something to do with the harbor. They're like lower income residents, then there are rich people with boats doing weird stuff, and then there's that locked up area that maybe serves as a camping ground, but also maybe nefarious things are going on in that area and you don't know. A lot of abandoned homes, old industrial equipment. I saw those got junk trucks driving by. It feels like there's a possibility of a story. Got junk transporting dead bodies. Yeah, you never know. Okay, I am finishing hour 11 and I am so exhausted and in pain. And I think I did this wrong. I think I pushed too hard and I set too many like external goals for this. I wanted to reach this place. I wanted to see this thing. I wanted to get a view, something. I wanted to reach a certain number of miles or steps done. I didn't know the location, so I was spending a lot of time just like navigating and not being present. So I'm already like, I should do this again, but at my own neighborhood and doing like a walk around a big park that I live near, so I can actually relax and not really think about that and just do loops until the 12 hours is up and not be super far away from home at any given time. But the other thing I will say is I'm passing by a lot of homes and people like working on their yard, hanging out, a lot of music playing, like Latin American music, and people seem to be having parties, enjoying themselves. And that's really lovely. And I just think of the idea of community and people playing soccer in their yard. Just, I don't know, that seems really nice. And I appreciate that. And I wouldn't have been able to see that otherwise without this walk. Yeah. Also walked through some pretty dark areas, and that was, the whole thing about keeping the phone off makes navigating even harder. Now it's lighter, so there's that. One more hour. I'm hoping to make it to this Louisiana chicken kitchen. God, I don't even know what it's called. The place with chicken tenders, chicken sandwiches. Hoping it's still open. I don't even know. But if I can get there and order a sandwich, take it home, that would be my plan to end this. Hour 12. Wrapped it all up. 12-hour walk. 28.7 miles. According to Apple Health, which combines like the phone and the watch, died as we discussed, and I couldn't get the food because it's drive-through. But yeah, was exhausted at the end. Really mentally had to push myself. I was counting numbers just to pass the time because it was so hard. My hips, my legs, everything feels swollen. It just reminds me of gymnastics training and just a little bit more, push a little bit longer, because that's just what it takes. And I think this is a mental clearer of sorts. Although I feel like I can do this with CrossFit or a hard run or something else that also beats me up without having to be so time intensive. But again, maybe I did this wrong. I probably pushed too hard. I probably had too many goals. I was probably mentally too occupied with too many things instead of just letting my mind be free. So chalk that up to me being overly ambitious, and we'll try again next time. So the first thing I noticed is that, yes, this was a really physically challenging experience. And at multiple times I was feeling tired and I was wondering if I could get through it. But our bodies are resilient, our bodies are capable, and I was able to sit down, rest, recuperate, and continue going. And I got all the way to the end. And honestly, if I had more opportunities to sit down towards the end, I would probably not even end up as beat up as I was at the very end there, because just a little bit of rest can go a long way in helping you do something that is long and difficult. So that might be my first lesson.
The obvious takeaway was that I spent a lot of time navigating and trying to figure out how to get to this final point, and I couldn't even get exactly there, so I got to this harbor nearby. And I think that that is an overall reflection of my mental state right now. I'm so focused on trying to achieve in my job at Facebook, trying to achieve in my personal projects, my writing projects, this YouTube channel, so many different things I'm trying to achieve, and I lose sight of like my overall goal or like why I'm doing this thing in the first place. In this case, it was that I lost sight of the fact that my goal was to really mentally decompress, to do some reflection, to think about my life, to see if I could gather new insights about myself. And you could see early on I was having some interesting musings and reflections, but as time went on, I was just so fixated on getting to my destination. For what reason? Because I wanted to hit a certain number of steps or whatever. That wasn't even the point. How many miles will I cover? First, I wanted to cover more than a marathon. Then I was like, maybe I can get to 30 miles. This is not about how fast or how far can you walk in 12 hours. It's about using this 12-hour walk as a way to center yourself. And I was clearly not getting the picture. And I think that that is probably a metaphor for my life too, in that when I get worked up about trying to go for a promo case or trying to get a certain number of followers or whatever, that is not the point. I'm a product manager because I love building tools and experiences and bringing them to people. And that's something that you get to do as a product manager. And I'm a creator and I'm a coach because I want to serve people and I want to empower people and ignite things inside them and help them grow. And those are the things that really matter. It's more important to me that I have an active community of people that I am engaging with than to have a large but dead or inactive audience who just sort of tunes in and then doesn't put that into practice into their lives. That wouldn't fulfill me, and that would honestly make me feel kind of sad. And the third thing is I did feel like I got a chance to notice so many small details about the neighborhood and little things that I saw along the way, the signs, the people I spoke to, this oasis garden, small little interactions. Pretty much every interaction I had with another person was fine. I even was walking in a very, very dimly lit area, and I saw another person who was also walking in this dimly lit area. And at first I was a little concerned because we were both just walking in the dark and we were intersecting, but he just said, hey, acknowledged me, I acknowledged him, and then we kept walking. And so every single encounter I had with another person was pretty positive. And that gives me some hope. That was touching. So how did I feel afterwards? Obviously, I was very sore in my hips, in my knees, in my feet. Immediately afterward, the next day though, I walked a mile to just spend time with Amanda, to go get some food or whatever, and it was fine. That the day after that, I was residual sore, so it was actually a little bit worse 2 days later than the first day after. But it was not something that had me laid out for a week or anything like that. I feel it's very doable, and especially if I had more chances to rest, because the 12-hour walk isn't this endurance challenge where you have to stay on your feet for the full 12 hours. You saw that I stopped, I took a break, and I ate food, and I took that off my time. Colin says that his grandmother did it, and she just did it by walking a block around her house and sitting on her steps until she felt rested enough to keep going. So she did that for 12 hours. And that's perfectly reasonable. So if you are looking for something a little bit different, a little bit offbeat, if journaling or meditation isn't clicking for you, or you just want to seek a new way to connect with yourself, give it a shot. Don't be like me and get too fixated on hitting a particular target or doing it exactly right. I think the most important things are that you walk for 12 hours total in the course of a day, that you are safe, that you don't use your phone, you don't listen to music or podcasts or anything like that, and you're not messaging people or going on the internet. So I did use my phone to navigate, but I had the data off. And so it's both a sort of physical activity and a bit of a detox from screen time. So yeah, that is how it went for me. And thanks for tuning in. Take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, do work that matters. Peace.